Hi everyone, welcome to the monthly intuitive card reading here on my YouTube channel. It's April 2023 this reading is for. So before we jump right into it, just a few things. If this resonates with you, please put it down below in the comments, or if you have any other comments, questions, concerns, just want to say hi. Guys, I love reading the comments, so go ahead and put them down below. Even if it doesn't resonate, I'm totally fine with any type of feedback that you have, or, just simply saying that it doesn't exactly resonate for me. The other thing is if it does resonate, please also like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I am only doing the weeklies and the monthlies at this time. As the channel grows, I'm going to be breaking them down to get a lot more specific. So the more likes, the more subscribes, people subscribe, the better. So this is really for the collective energy, which means that it's for the majority of people. So let's just jump right into it, guys. I don't want to keep you waiting. So let's see what April 2023 has in store for us, okay? So let's begin with the current energy here. Okay, we have by the book. Interesting. Number 11 also jumps out as well. By the book is always about more structure. It's also more about playing by the rules. And not necessarily deviating from the plan. Okay, so I find that really interesting. So what's kind of coming up for me here? And again, the 11 is really jumping out to me. 11 is always about like individuality, which is actually kind of a contrast, but I'll explain it in a minute. Individuality, it's also one of the most spiritual numbers besides the 7 and the 3, that we have the 11. It's also a master number, but anyway, it means kind of going on an aligned path, right? And so basically this month I'm feeling a little bit more, even though I'm already getting like this lighthearted energy that's coming through, I definitely do feel like it's not necessarily, and we'll get more clarity as the reading goes on, but it's not necessarily a time to be trying, I don't want to say trying anything new, but kind of sticking to the plan. I do feel, again, I did the weekly. The weekly says that some of these changes, these massive changes that are happening in our lives are becoming more physical. They are manifesting themselves. And I do believe that. And so that could be a reason why this is coming up in the way of like, all right, you have all this chaos. Maybe chaos is a little strong. Maybe some of you feel like the change is chaotic, but for the majority of you, I think it is happening at more of like a slower type pace, especially since we have like the elephants there. Now, they're a little bit more, I don't want to say graceful, but they definitely move a little bit slower, and big, massive change right there. And so I definitely do feel like, as things are kind of changing around us, Spirit is kind of saying like, okay, it's okay to keep too much change sometimes is like really hard for a lot of us. So it's okay to, keep things like the same, like not necessarily deviating out of like your normal routine as everything else is changing, right? And so a way that I can think of as something I can think of as an example would be if you're actually going through like a massive relationship change, and then you're also going through a career change at the same time. To me, those are always the two areas of life that are huge for us. I'll also add wellness and health onto that as well. Well, that will be like the third thing, right? And so it's saying like, well, it's not exactly a great time to kind of like change up your health routine, for example, like maybe trying to start run a marathon or starting some major health changes, right? Because you have so many other changes kind of happening at once. And so if you're a sensitive person, and I think I've said this before, too much change at one time is extremely overwhelming, and the whole point is not to overwhelm us as they all go as these changes start to happen. Okay, so again, elephants in a slow, nice, steady pace. It's not supposed to go super fast. Just as these changes that we've been feeling are coming, for the last like 3 or 4 months, now that they're starting to come in fruition, it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that pace. Okay, so I hopefully that makes sense. But as we go on, we'll get a lot more clarity with that too, right? Okay, not surprised. What did I say? We're still going through the changes. So we got this one. The current for the first week of half of the first week, basically what it was, the weekly reading last week. So basically I'm not surprised because okay, now it's we're getting into the changes basically, and that's our strength. Okay, a change in the wind, this is our strength, meaning that it's in our favor, it's working out really well. And again, makes sense with the by the book, because it's basically saying like, don't go ahead and make the change because the change is happening to you, right? And so it's like, if you can keep things the same while all of the stuff is changing around you, that's great. But it being in the strength spot is really, really good, because it means everything is kind of going as smoothly as possible. So don't rock the boat, basically, right? It's like, don't bring on more changes. Everything is going nice and smooth, okay? Challenge. Okay, so I don't read this particular deck upside down, but we have Orphaned here. Orphaned always kind of gives this feeling of being alone. We also have the 5, as you noticed here, okay? 5 is also change energy, okay? So the challenge here is, I definitely do feel like, although I'm feeling like it's a nice, slow, steady pace, I'm feeling a lot more lightheartedness already. We've only pulled 3 cards so far, but I'm definitely already feeling that for April. But I definitely do feel like there's loneliness, okay? And so this could be connected to the change. It's right below the change. We could be moving and feeling like we're, moving to a place. Some of us will be moving to a place where we don't necessarily know a lot of people. We're leaving a job of a long time and we don't know anybody at this new job or new career or whatever it is, or we're leaving, everybody that we knew, that kind of thing. So I definitely do feel like there's this energy of loneliness that is going to be a challenge for April. Is going to be a challenge, which is very interesting, because I have personally, and I'm wondering if it kind of comes up in the reading, maybe it might come up in relationships, I'm curious to see, or surprise, because I do feel like, even though this is loneliness, I do feel like there's an element of this social, more social type energy kind of coming through. But again, this doesn't actually have to be physical feeling alone, okay? This could be that we don't feel like we're being supported during these changes, right? Because this is really all about the changes here. So this could be that we're not feeling supported and we feel like from our family or something like that, that we just feel like, another one is like, we just feel like people don't understand us, or why we need to have this change, or something like that. So I definitely do feel a disconnect, and that's going to be the most challenging thing of the month. But let's go ahead and do the rest of the reading to see if we get some more clarity around that. Okay, need. Okay, we have exchanging gifts. So for me, what's coming up for this is our need is to be in, I don't want to say relationship, our need to, I don't even want to say barter. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I guess, give and receive. We need that exchange, right? And so I guess communication is also good too, because we kind of need like that back and forth. So I definitely do feel like, I'm actually not shocked coming from the challenge, because the challenge is feeling alone. So basically Spirit is saying, like, if you feel alone, reach out, right? Reach out to somebody that doesn't. If you feel misunderstood, reach out to somebody that does understand you, like that kind of thing, and have that exchange, okay? Because I feel like it's a give and a take. So with this being said, we didn't even get to the relationship slot, okay? But we'll see what's under there. But I'm definitely feeling like what the relationships in our life, or any type of connections in our life where we weren't getting an equal back and forth exchange, it wasn't an equal relationship in any type of way. If you pulled the weight more, if they pulled the weight more, like whatever it actually happens to be, it definitely does feel like that is starting to break away, okay? That could also be contributing to the loneliness, to the feeling alone, because I do already feel this. And again, very curious to see what the relationship slot says, of breaking away of these relationships that are not based on balance, that are not based on justice, which is give and take, right? Where it's fairness, okay? That's what it's kind of going on here. So that's very interesting. So connecting with people that give you that, right? That give you that equal give and take, okay? Very interesting. Focus, a leg up. You guys have heard me say this before. This is always about advantageous energy. So that for me feels like we need to focus on, how do I say this in a way that makes sense? Where we have an advantage, where we have, I will definitely say, because we're on the relationship kind of topic here, and we have 2 in relationships, it feels almost like, referencing relationships, it feels almost like utilizing people's connections, utilizing your connections, utilizing who you know, utilizing what you already have to get ahead. That's what I'm feeling like the focus could be. And this could actually be just like even like skills and talents too at the same time, where it's like focus on that to really kind of move ahead. And I'm getting this word survive. Okay. And so I find that very interesting that Spirit is kind of using that word because, you know, sometimes with major change, it feels like we are just kind of trying to get through it in a way, trying to survive. So that's very interesting. So let's see what the surprise is. Okay, we have mending. All right, that is. Okay, guys, I don't know if you've already noticed, but this month is heavily focused on relationships. I mean, you know, the first couple of ones were really kind of like, you know, individuality and focusing on us and all the changes that's kind of happening and that kind of thing. And then it goes right into relationships. So all of these are really heavily focused on our relationships. But surprise is mending. So I definitely do feel like there's a surprise mending of some type of connections. And this is where the social energy. So I'm very curious to see what's under the relationships, but like a mending and here's that social energy that I've been kind of feeling energetically, just, you know, without the cards in general for April. And I'm sure it has something to do with numerology because, you know, the things that I feel intuitively, you know, I dabble in my numerology based on that, and I feel like it really aligns. And so basically, I definitely do feel like the mending of some type of relationship or getting to a deeper place with some of our relationships, having more intimacy, or just as simple as meeting new people. So I'm really excited. I've hyped it up this whole time. So let's see what relationships are. Unfinished symphony, interesting. Unfinished business, okay, in our relationships. Very interesting. Comes with the surprise of mending. Guys, feel like unfinished business, people coming back, but in a, you know what I'm not getting from this? I'm not getting like in a toxic way. So that's really interesting. And I think a positive thing. But anything that maybe might be like unfinished, because I definitely do feel like, you know, so this is interesting. If one of the major changes is like moving back to your hometown or something, this would really resonate with a lot of you guys if that's your situation. But definitely just feeling like unfinished business, like kind of like picking up from where you like left off with something that was like really important to you, that really connected you to a lot of people too. Could be one particular person, maybe not a group of people, or maybe you're going back to your community center or your church or whatever, you know, going back to volunteering, going back to an old job, or again, it doesn't necessarily mean going back. So I don't want people to think like, because it doesn't feel that way, right? It actually feels going forward, which to me, it's interesting because it's saying, okay, you're mending relationships and you're dealing with like unfinished business, right? Unfinished business. So these people do have to kind of like come back. There might be some of you guys that this might be presenting itself in a different way where if you have unfinished lessons, for example, if you are somebody that always runs from relationships and is not good at commitment, there might be a new person kind of coming through, but the unfinished, it's talking about an unfinished lesson, if that makes sense. So it'll look differently for a lot of different people. I'm very interested to see how it manifests. Remember, you know, put it down in the comments if any of this is resonating with you, as you know, and come back to this video, rewatch it maybe mid-April, that kind of thing. Write it down, let me know. I would love to see how it does manifest for you. But yeah, I definitely do feel like unfinished business here. And the 1 and the 0 is always about balancing the energies. So I definitely do feel like something that was imbalanced is coming back into balance. So we've got a nice spread bringing us to more of a balance this month in general, but especially heavy on relationships. Okay, so let's take a look at money and finances. I think we got this did we get this the weekly? Sorry guys, when I read, it kind of just leaves my mind, so I don't remember, but I definitely do feel like, and I'm pretty sure this was in the weekly, so it doesn't surprise me that it's in the monthly because the weekly is the first, you know, bleeding into the first week of April, but I definitely do feel like, again, another card that really indicates that our relationships are really important this month, and it's somewhere in money and finances. So somebody helping us accelerate our business, accelerate our career in some type of way, accelerate our finances in some type of way. But that doesn't surprise me because, like I said, this is heavily focused on relationships, and it's definitely a more social month. So I wouldn't be surprised if you meet somebody that will help you with your finances in some way, shape, or form. Overall outcome, truth be told, yes, yes, yes. I love this card. You want to know why? Because it's always about authenticity and speaking your truth and self-expression and all that good stuff. So I definitely do feel like we're changed. Like there's an overall feeling here of, yes, change, right? Change here, change here, change here. Of change, meaning that, this change is moving us forward to becoming more of our authentic selves. And so that is never a bad thing, okay? Because, and if you think about it, guys, there's just no way at some point you have like a break of some kind. I feel like I want to say, like, you can't keep getting older and growing and not becoming who you truly are. Like that's kind of like the whole part about aging too, is just, I mean, you can try to hold it in as much as you possibly can, but I feel like we're getting smarter as a consciousness, like as a collective consciousness. Like we cannot continue to be in fear anymore. And I feel like this as a collective, that's like the direction that we're going in. And, more love, less fear, some people call it ascension, whatever you want to call it. But I definitely do feel like this month is in some type of way like a big part of that, because we are getting to a place of not wanting to hide ourselves anymore. And that helps us get closer to the things that we truly, truly want and desire, because, the more honest we can be with ourselves about who we are and what we desire, the more the universe can respond to that and actually give it to us. Okay, so that's why it's exciting, and that's why this change just feels really monumental in that way, of moving us forward. So overall, a good month, guys. Like I said, there might be a little bit of hiccups around feeling a little bit lonely or misunderstood. But again, I actually feel like that's a little bit more of our doing, because the need tells us to reach out and find that balance, okay? So we might be stretching a little bit out of our comfort zone, and having to maybe meet new people for that. But again, I do feel like a surprise is coming in a mending of a friendship, mending of some type of broken relationship, of some kind, as well as unfinished business with our relationships. So our relationships are an interesting but huge part of this month of April. But again, don't make things harder, okay? Stick by the book, stay by your routine, for example. Don't think about, if you have a big change happening in one area of your life, don't go ahead and like try to change another big area of your life or something like that, right? It's going to get too crazy and the word is chaotic. And again, I got that word survival around here, right? Which is like, you're trying to, roll with the punches, roll with the changes, survive them essentially. And so you don't need to be creating more chaos or more stress or anxiety by your own doing, right? I talk a lot about, sometimes we create our own suffering, and Spirit is saying, like, don't do it like this, don't put more on your plate when you don't have to, okay? Okay, so hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Remember, please like this video if it resonated with you. Subscribe to my channel if you like this content. I also do daily shorts of the daily video. The daily cards. So would love if you could subscribe just for that. That's it, guys. Please put the comments down below. Hopefully it resonates and was helpful for you. Happy April, and I'll see you next time. Bye.